I remember getting saved when I was about 5 years old. I was in my bedroom on my bunk bed with my parents, and my dad asked me if I wanted to pray the prayer of salvation, and I said yes. I've grown up going to church. I've always gone to church. Everything I ever did when I was younger was involved with church. I was homeschooled for the first few years of elementary, so all my friends were at church. My mom taught a band, so that was at church. That was in my homeschool group. I was involved in Awana. Everything I did was church. I eventually started going to school, and it was a Christian school, and it was a little bit further away from where my church was, so it was difficult for me to be able to go to my youth groups on Thursday nights, because ours was on Thursday, not Wednesday. So eventually I stopped being able to go there, but I was still able to go on Sundays. And the more I got involved in my school, the less I was involved with my church friends, and grew a little distant from them, and started going to church and felt kind of lonely. But something big happened. When I was in ninth grade, the high school I went to, my mom also worked at, and they decided that they thought it was going to be better for the staff to attend the church if they were working there. So they made a rule. If you work here, you must attend this church. So that moved my family from my original church that I had been to for about 10 years to this new church. I wasn't completely new because I went to school with a lot of people that already went to church there. And even though I kind of felt lonely at my other church, that was still what I knew. So going to this new church was a little nerve-wracking and a little upsetting to me. But it ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me. I fell in love with this church. I fell in love with the people. I got really involved in choir, and I was just able to come out of my shell a little bit more and be more involved in things that I really liked. I was able to start going to youth group again because I was already there for sports, so I ended up just staying on Wednesday nights and being there all the time. Even though I was really involved in church, I still felt a little lost. I still felt like something was missing. I had friends, but I was always the pushover type, so it was really easy for people to run over me, and I just let people do whatever. I didn't stick up for myself, so I feel frustrated or feel sad, and there was still something that was missing. So I went and I talked to one of our pastor's wives, and she was also one of my teachers, so I had a good relationship with her, and she asked me if I had been baptized yet, and I said no. So that was something I feel like was able to help me fill that void. It was something that I'm supposed to follow through with after being a Christian, after being saved. And once I got baptized, I didn't change right after, but it did help me move towards becoming closer to God. Like I had mentioned in our previous speech, I did not go to college right after school. I worked for a year. And that year off, even though it was frustrating because all of my friends were in school, they were moving on with their lives, I was stuck at school, at the same school I just graduated from. I didn't go anywhere new. I was stuck at home. But it proved to be one of the best years that I could have ever asked for. I grew in my relationship with God so much. I was able to learn how to be content in just my relationship with God and not need to seek anything else or anybody else. It was a really great growing year for me, and the biggest thing that God ever did for me was, besides saving me, obviously, was bring me to Davis, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and the way things with Davis worked out, it was the most I had ever felt God's presence in my life, in situations. Being here at Davis has been great. There are times when I do miss being at home, I miss my family, but being here, it's just so encouraging to be around people who know God, who love God, and who can encourage me in God and really help me continue working on my relationship with God. Some things that I've been learning lately is that I have timing for myself that's not always what God wants for me. And it's been a great learning experience. I've grown closer to God more this year than I feel like I have even last year. I got to work at a Christian summer camp, and that was really, really great for me. I was around more Christians, and I was able to step out of my comfort zone and work with children who did not know God. And I had the opportunity to lead a little girl to Christ. Hopefully that's something that she still really holds on to and has like continued to grow in. I learned so much from working there, and I learned so much every day from being more involved in just activities that cause me to step out of my comfort zone and really reach people for God. It's something that I am still afraid of. Talking to people about God, I still get nervous, but I become more dedicated in my devotions and more influenced by people around me who are really in love with God, and it's really done a lot for me. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate everything that God's done for me. Thank you.